Howdy, with this video I want to show you how to check your Turnitin report. Turnitins are plagiarism detector that we use at Northeast State. Hopefully you covered this in Comp 1, but for some of you Comp 1's been a while back. So I want to show you where it's located and how to look at it when you check your Turnitin report. You're going to see in the Dropbox folder under assignments, sometimes you'll see this little binocular looking icon. That means I have Turnitin turned on for that particular Dropbox folder. I don't do it for all of them because for some of these, it'd take you longer to cheat than it would to actually just do the assignment. But you'll come over here to submission, and you'll see this Turnitin similarity, and it'll give you a percentage. Hopefully, it will not give you 97%. I just uploaded a self-review that hundreds of students have done prior to this class. So yeah, it's going to pop up and say, hey, somebody else has submitted this to Turnitin before. But that's where you're just going to click on the color, and it'll pop up your report. And whatever you see highlighted, it's saying that somebody else has submitted this previously before you submitted your essay. And that's really all Turnitin is saying. It's not necessarily saying you plagiarized. It's saying somebody else has turned in the same information previously. So let's look at the draft Dropbox folder. This is what it looks like on my side once it pops up. For an essay like this, where you're writing about a short story that somebody else has probably already written about before, it's not unusual to be in the 20% or 30%, but you do want to check it. 35% like this one, like James's, a little high. You need to go in there and check it, make sure any summaries and paraphrases are looking good. But you can kind of see most of these are going to be in the 20%, 25% kind of range. You can see the one we just looked at, 97%. That's how much it stands out when, say, a student just copies and pastes a Wikipedia article or something like that. Sometimes students are like, well, how'd they find out? Well, it was pretty easy. But to kind of go through one, we'll look at Trinity's here. And I've already looked at this one, so we're not going to get shocked by anything here. And she hasn't done anything incorrect. But kind of notice, sometimes it's going to say you're plagiarizing your last name, or somebody else has submitted an essay with your last name in it. So what? That's not plagiarism, right? Trinity's not plagiarizing, the number one or anything like that. You can click on this little similarity tool, and if you click on the number, it'll show you where it's saying this information has been turned in before, or from where it's been turned in. And if you just kind of go through it, most of the stuff that's getting highlighted are quotes, which is fine. That's just saying somebody else has used this quote in an essay somewhere within the history of Turnitin. That doesn't mean you're plagiarizing at all. Trinity's doing a good job here. She's introducing a quote. She's citing her quotes. Just because somebody else has used this quote in a previous essay doesn't mean anything. So she's good there. It's highlighting, like black box and little silly stuff like that. If it's doing that, don't worry about it. It's just picking up a little phrase. Black box is a science fiction short story. It's not something you would plagiarize. Just somebody else has used that phrase somewhere in an essay, somewhere within the history of English paper writing. Well, so what? If it's starting to highlight like an entire paragraph, or if you've taken something from like Spark Notes or something and just kind of changed a couple of words, it's going to pick that up pretty quick. So if you're kind of looking at your own paragraphs, particularly in the body of the essay, and it's highlighting it, kind of make sure you understand why. If it's just a long quote like this one, she's not doing anything wrong here. She just has a long quote. Somebody else has used this long quote in a previous essay, which is fine. If all of this had been highlighted, then she'd have a problem. But this is just a quote. She's citing it properly. And you're kind of starting to see one reason she's getting that 37% is because she's using long quotes. As long as she's commenting on them, and that's one thing I noted on her draft, she needs to comment on these quotes. She's fine here. She's not plagiarizing or anything like that. Just saying somebody else has used these quotes in a previous essay, which it's not Trinity's problem, right? And the works cited page is probably going to highlight that. So, when you first look at it, 37% might seem kind of high, but it's just where she's using long quotes. If she comments a little bit more in the quotes, that number will go down as well because there'll be more words in the essay. She's also missing the short story in the works cited page. But you can kind of see perfectly good report. There's nothing wrong there. She's doing everything she's supposed to be doing. She's citing and formatting the quotes and everything, so she's in good shape there. But again, if you're getting a paragraph where it's highlighting a lot of it and it's not a quote, that's something you got to watch out for. And if you have questions about it, let me know. I'm happy to go over and look at the report and see what it's doing for you. But hopefully this is not a gotcha tool I use after you submit your essay. You want to look at this before you submit the final version, or after you submit the final version, and check it real quickly, make sure nothing looks untoward there. But it's a neat tool, but you got to know how to use it. So the first time you see it, it's like, oh my gosh. But again, with these literary essays, it's normal to be in the 20-30% range. So. In fact, if you're kind of like in that 5 or 6% range, I'm kind of like, well, why is it so low? That might be the problem. Are you not using quotes to support what you're saying or what's going on there? But if you have any questions, be sure to let me know. But we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.